Shabbat shalom,
We're
everyone.
on?
We're on.
Okay. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Shabbat shalom. It is wonderful to be able to gather us all together in this way when we're trying to keep each other safe by staying in our homes, but we can still be together on Shabbat, which is an incredible blessing. This is the portion of Chaye Sarah, the life of Sarah. And there is an amazing midrash that always stays with me about Sarah, the biblical Sarah. It says that, and it's a legend, but like all legends, there's something in there, I think, that is going to be helpful to us. The legend says that when Sarah would light Shabbat candles in her tent in the desert, right before the sunset on Friday night, the candles would magically stay lit all the way until the next Friday afternoon, until she lit them again a few hours later. And the reason the candles stayed lit, the legend says, is because of the warmth and the peace and the holiness that was coming from her place, her tent. And I can feel the warmth and peace from all of your homes, so welcome to everybody. And I can especially feel the warmth and the peace coming, Alex, from your home. There you are. From your home, which is a holy place, even when it's not doubling as a synagogue, because our homes are our sacred places. But now even more so is your home a sacred place, because you are going to help lead this service, and you're going to chant Torah and teach Torah for all of us, and become a Bat Mitzvah before our very eyes. And so I want to make sure that not only do I welcome everybody, but I welcome all the people in your house, Alex, besides you, of course, the Bat Mitzvah. Your parents are there, Kara and Liz and Ryan and Ann. You have your brothers. How they doing? How's Grayson and Winston doing?
Hey,
all right. Tell them we say hi, your little brothers. And two of your grandparents from Philadelphia. I got to meet your grandpa yesterday when I delivered the Torah back to you, and it was really delightful to meet him. And I know your other grandparents are watching, along with your friends and your family and our congregation. And so, Bruchim Habaim, welcome to everybody. I want to let everyone know that if you want to access the special Siddur for this Bat Mitzvah that Alex prepared, you can go to centralreform.org and click on live stream. And when you click on live stream, you will see a button to click to get the special Siddur. And so there are page numbers that we'll announce. Some of the prayers will also be superimposed on the screen. So if you don't download the Siddur, that's okay too. And also, Alex, as part of the role of a prayer leader, will tell you sometimes to stand up and sit down according to the tradition of the prayers. Obviously, you're in the comfort of your own homes. You can choose to do what you want, but we will tell you the traditional choreography as we go along. But mostly, I just hope that all of us, and especially Alex, feel gratitude for this Shabbat having arrived. You've been waiting for this moment for a long time, Alex, I know, and anticipating it. And it's a moment of transformation for you, becoming a Bat Mitzvah, and for all of us, the thrill and the honor of being witnesses to this holy moment. And so we begin the prayer service with a prayer of gratitude, actually a song of gratitude. It's on page 2, and we're going to watch a video of this really special prayer, Modeh, Moda, Ani.
Rabbi Emunah
Amen. So we want to make sure that you feel surrounded by love on this day that you become Bat Mitzvah, Alex. And so I know you're surrounded by family. You're joined by your rabbis, myself and Rabbi Susan, Rabbi Daniel, Rabbi Karen, and all the people that are tuned in from, they could be anywhere in the world tuned in when it comes to the internet. But we also want you to feel embraced by your Jewish tradition. And one of the ways we do that, especially when you lead a service, is to wear the talit, the prayer shawl with the fringes, reminding us of those mitzvahs, those sacred deeds. So I'm going to ask all your parents to come on up to present you with your talis. Here they come. Look at that. What a crew. And so you're going to put that talit on. Stay up there while you make the blessing for the mitzvah of wearing a talis. Look at that. Beautiful. Oh, I love that talit.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahitatef bat tzitzi.
Amen. Amen. Ma tovu. How good are these holy moments that help define our lives?
אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יאללה לה 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 לה, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יאללה לה 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 לה, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבט אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבט אחים גם יחד, la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבט אחים גם יחד הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבט אחים גם יחד.
Please chant together. Baruch atah Eloheinu melech haolam, shesani b'tzalmo. Blessed are you, God, who has made me in your image. Baruch atah Eloheinu melech haolam, shesani b'chorim. Blessed are you, the eternal Lord God, who has made me free. Baruch atah Eloheinu melech haolam, shesani Yisrael. Blessed are you, the eternal Lord God, who has made me Israel. Baruch atah Eloheinu melech haolam, Ho'kaf Ivrim. Blessed are you, the eternal Lord God, who opens the eyes of the blind. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, malbish arumim. Blessed are you, the eternal Lord God, who provides clothes for the needy. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hanoten laya'ef koach. Blessed are you, the eternal Lord God, who gives strength to the weak. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher chichi mitzadei gaber. Blessed are you, the eternal Lord God, who guides the steps of human beings.
So we are at the top of page 5 for those following along. Alex, that was beautiful, and we will continue with the Chatzi Kaddish.
Yitkadal ve'yitkadash shemei rabbah ve'alma divrach yirteh ve'amlich malchuteh v'chayechon u'yomechon u'chayedecho beit Yisrael ba'agala u'bisman kariv ve'imeru amen Yehi shemei rabbah mevorach V'alam u'amei almaya yitbarach ve'yishba ve'yitpa'ar ve'yitraman ve'yitnatzeh ve'yithadar ve'yit'aleh ve'yithalal shemei dekudesh abarichu le'elam min kol birchata ve'shirata tushbechata ve'nechemata da'amiran be'alma ve'imeru amen. Prayer should not be regarded as a duty which must be performed, but rather as a privilege to be enjoyed, a rare delight that is always revealing some new beauty. Please rise as we call each other to prayer with the Baruch Hu. In the midst of darkness, light persists. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzer or uvorei choshech, oseh shalom uvorei et hakol. Hame'ir ba'aretz v'la'adarim, alecha v'rachamim. Uvtuvo mechadesh b'chol yom tamid ma'aseh reshit. Ma'rabu ma'asecha Adonai. Kulam b'chochma asita, malach ha'aretz kinyanecha. Titbarach Adonai Eloheinu, al sheba ma'aseh yadecha. Ve'ol me'orei or she'asita yifarucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai yotzer hamarot. Together, we praise our God, ruler of the universe, former of light, creator of darkness, maker of peace, and creator of all things. In your mercy, light shines over the earth and upon all who inhabit it. Through your goodness, the work of daily creation is daily renewed. How great are your works, O God! In wisdom you have made all of them. The earth is filled with all of your creations. The works of your hands, O God, praise you, and the wondrous stars and planets of the skies glorify you. Praise be you, O God, creator of all the lights in the heavens. Love recognizes no barriers. It jumps hurdles, leaps fences, penetrates walls to arrive at its destination full of hope. My Hebrew name, Ochava, means love. As I prepared for my Bat Mitzvah, I learned that the numerical value in the letters of Ochava and Echad are the same, 13. Because of this, the Jewish mystics think that there is a special connection between love and oneness. The Shema reminds us to think about the oneness of God, but also the oneness and unity of people and our responsibility to love and care for every member of our community because we are all connected to each other. Please join me in chanting the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Please be seated. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinatam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha v'betacha v'zettecha v'aderech v'sotecha v'kunecha v'tzetaneot al yadecha v'chayu letotafot v'nenecha v'chatam al mizuzot beitecha v'vishalecha v'man v'yisrael v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim v'rachechem Ani Adonai Elohechem asher chotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lichot lachem le'elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem. Together, you shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. Take to heart these words which I command you this day. Teach them diligently to your children. Speak of them when you are at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you arise. Bind them as a sign on your hand, and let them serve as symbols between your eyes. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your homes and your gates. Remember to do all my commandments and to be holy to your God. I am your God who led you out of Egypt to be your God. I am your God. I know that we are a people who have crossed many seas. In every service, we remember that the price of freedom is often great as we sing the same words that our ancestors sang after crossing from slavery to freedom at the shores of another sea.
Yisvaot Shemo Kadosh Yisrael Baruch Ata Adonai Gad Yisrael.
So for those who are following along, we are at the top of page 13. And Alex, I have to say, you've done such a beautiful job thus far. And as we move out of the Shemoneh blessings into the Tefillah, I know that will continue. And I also want to say, I know how much hard work you've put into this day. I had so much fun getting to know you and working with you for 2 years at the kibbutz, and I know how much this means to you and how much effort and work you've put in to get here. So we're so proud of you. And we begin Tefillah together with a quote Alex has chosen on page 13.
Families are the compass that guides us. They are the inspiration to reach great heights and our comfort when we occasionally falter. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotinu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Chavarah, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, V'konei HaKol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, V'mevi Yilula Livnei V'neihem, V'ma'al Shemo Be'achava, Melech Ozer U'Moshe U'Madon, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham V'Ezrat Sarah. Together. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, and our God of fathers and mothers, God of Abraham, God of Isaac, God of Jacob, God of Sarah, God of Rebekah, God of Leah, and God of Rachel. You are the great, mighty, and awesome God, God supreme. You bestow good, kind deeds, possess everything, and remember the kind deeds of our fathers and mothers. With love we bring redemption to their descendants for the sake of your name. You are our ruler, helper, savior, shield. Blessed are you, Adonai, shield of Abraham, and help of Sarah. Ata gibor ha'olam Adonai, mechayeh hakol ata rav le'oshia, mechakel ha'im b'chesed, mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim, somech melchim berafei cholim, umatir asurim, umkayem emunato, lishenei afar, Michamocha ba'al gevurot, umidomecha, מלך מימי ומחיי ומשמיעת ישועה ונאמנת לך חיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. When you rise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love.
Beautiful words, Alex, as we make our way into the Kedusha, which is all about holiness and being holy in our world.
Kadosh, 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 Adonai Sevaot, Melech haaretz, kevodo, Adir, Adirenu, Adonai, Adonai Badir, Shimcha b'chol haaretz, Baruch kevod Adonai Tzidkenu. Echadu Eloheinu Hu Avinu Hu Malkeinu Hu Moshienu Vehu Yashmienu Verachamav Ve'enei Kol Chai Ani Adonai Elohim Yimloch Adonai Le'olam Elohai Tzion V'dor v'dor Hallelujah V'dor v'dor Nagid God Lecha Netzach Netzachim Kedushacha Nakdish V'shivchacha Eloheinu Mipinu Lo Yamush Le'olam Va'ed Baruch Atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh.
Please be seated. In today's rush, we all think too much, seek too much, want too much, and forget about the joy of just being.
Shamu b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat Lasot et HaShabbat L'dorotam merit olam B'nei Ruven b'nei Yisrael Oti le'olam Shamu b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat Asot et HaShabbat V'dorotam merit olam Shishet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim va'et haaretz V'shamu b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat Asot et HaShabbat V'dorotam merit olam השבת, לעשות את השבת, למדור אותם ברית עולם, למדור אותם ברית עולם.
Enough is a feast. Peace begins with a smile.
Shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromah, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom, shalom bimromah, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom, shalom bimromah, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen.
Alex, I love all of the quotes you have chosen for us this morning to make our Shabbat morning even more meaningful. I especially love that peace begins with a smile. What a perfect quote for Shabbat is into our prayer of peace. So we're going to pause for just a moment of silent prayer. There's some other wonderful quotes that Alex has chosen, all from pretty amazing women. And I hope that we'll just pause for a moment before we go into our Torah service for you to read through any of the quotes that Alex has picked thus far. And then Rabbi Susan will join us for our Torah service.
Rabbi Susan, I think you are muted.
I was muted. Alex, thank you for the beautiful service you're leading. We need these moments of pause. We need these moments of celebration right now. They open up possibilities for us. And so when we think that we know everything, or, we can only see certain possibilities, when you force us to stop and take a moment and celebrate this passage in your life with you, you also give us hope. that maybe there are possibilities we have not even yet dreamed. And that's the power of Torah. So I'd like to invite your parents, Kara and Liz, Ryan and Ann, to join you. And on behalf of all your grandparents, I'd like to invite Richard and Alexis, all the way from Philadelphia, your grandparents, to also join at the Bima. We'll ask your grandparents to hold the Torah as we form this line of tradition. Alex, you stand on the shoulders of many of the women that you've quoted in your Siddur, and certainly the generations of the people that you come from. Grandparents, Liz, Joanne and Lloyd, and Elise and Jim, and Julie and Peter are also in this line of tradition with your grandparents, who we are graced to have with us in person this day. But also the generations that have come before. I hope you feel all the shoulders that you are standing on this day. And as you receive this Torah, know that it only amplifies, it only deepens your sense of self. It only deepens, the Alex that we know is growing and becoming. And I know that you stuck with this portion and you stuck with this date, no matter what kinds of challenges were going to be out there. And you trusted that it would be right, because, boy, did you get the right portion, right? This Sarah, who kept the light on in the tent and lived such a full and meaningful and fierce life. When she died, the light went out in the tent. But in the blink of an eye, in this same portion, before it's over, your portion, Rebecca puts the light back on in the tent. She keeps that tent open for us and puts the light back on. And I want you to remember how she did it. Not only because she, was in love, but also because she was kind to animals, right? Why was she chosen? She was chosen because Eliezer saw, the servant of Abraham saw, that she fed the camels, she fed the animals even before she fed the people. And from what I've learned about you, that is something that you might do as well. That you would see the suffering, you would see where the kindness was needed, and you would respond in holy ways. So, my dear, we can only hope that we can be loving arms to support you on this amazing journey that you're on, and that you will continue to keep the light on in the tent for us with your acts of kindness, with your fierce sense of self, and by continuing to add your voice to the ongoing story of Torah. So I ask your grandfather to give that Torah to your grandmother, your dad, to your stepmom, to your mom. You are a rich woman. You have a lot of family. And you know what they say, the more love, people that love you, the more love there is, right? It doesn't get divided. So if you accept this willingly, this challenge willingly with all your heart, as a sign to your community that you will continue to add your wonderful, fierce, kind, compassionate voice to Torah, please lead us in the words of the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Beautiful. And now I'm not sure who's going to help you undress the Torah. I'm going to turn this over to your mama. Beautiful. Undress the Torah. There you go. Turn this back over to Randy.
So perfect, Alex. I'm going to ask everyone else who's up there to give you a little hug or a socially distanced, whatever you're doing, and then have a seat. So as Rabbi Susan said, you have a perfect Torah portion for you, and we are excited to hear you chant Torah for us this morning. So we have some special people to invite up for our first Aliyah, your Uncle Phil and your Aunt Rebecca. So I'm going to invite them up, even though I know this is a video, and then we'll watch the blessing before, and then you can start your Torah portion. So we say, Ya'amod Yigav Varicha Aliyah Rishonah.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamvarah, Baruch Adonai Hamvarah Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam, Asher Basar Banu Mikol Ha'amim, V'natan Lanu Et Torato, Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Ve'Avraham Zaken Vayamim V'Adonai Berach et Avraham Ba'kol Vayomer Avraham El Avdo Zekan Beito Hamoshel Bechol Asher Lo Simna Yacha Techat Yerehi Ve'ashbi Acha V'Adonai Elohei Hashamayim Ve'Elohei Ha'aretz Asher Lo Tikach Isha Livni Mivnot Ha'kna'ani Asher Anochi Yosef Bekirbo Ki Al Arti Ve'al Molanti Telech V'lakachta Isha Livni Leitcha.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam, Asher Natan Lanu Torah Emet, V'Hayei Olam Notah B'Tocheinu, Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Alex, is that your cousin saying amen?
Yes.
That was perfect. That was perfect. And for those who are watching and don't know, Alex has worked so hard to learn to read from the Torah. She had to learn Hebrew, and then she had to learn Hebrew without vowels so she could read from the Torah. So that is what she has mastered, and we're so proud of her. And so we want to invite up your grandparents for the second Aliyah, your grandma Alexis and your grandpa Michael. And so we say, Ya'amod Michal ben Shavsi vi Alexis la'aliyah shniya.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamvarah, Baruch Adonai Hamvarah Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam, Asher Bahar Banu Mikol Ha'amim, V'natan Lanu Et Torato, Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Vayomer Elav Ha'eved Ulai Lo Toveh Ha'isha Lalechet Acharai El Ha'aretz Chazot Echashev Ashiv Et Bencha El Ha'aretz Asher Yatzata משם. ויאמר אליו אברהם הישמר לו פן תשיב את בני שמה אדוני אלוהי השמיים אשר לקחני מבית אבי ומארץ מולדתי ואשר דיברו ואשר נשבע לי לאמור לזרעך אתן את הארץ הזאת ישלח מעכה לפניך ולקחת אישה לבני משם ואם לא תובע האישה ללכת אחריך וניכית ישועתי זאת רק את בני לא תשב שמה.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu et Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tokeinu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
So we say amen. And Alex, this is your moment. This is when we get to call you up as a bat mitzvah to read from the Torah. So let's get your parents back up there to stand behind you. Perfect. And wait, hold on one second. I want to call you up as a bat mitzvah to the Torah. So we say ta'amod. Ahava bat Ryan Vesera la'aliyah bat mitzvah.
Baruch et Adonai hamborach, Baruch Adonai hamborach le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato, Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Vayasem.
Ha'evet.
Sorry, I was on the wrong one. Vayasem ha'evet et yado tachat yerech Abraham Adonai vayishava lo al hadavar hazeh vayikach ha'evet asara gemalim mimalei Adonai vayelech v'chotu Adonai vayado vayakom vayelech el aram necharaim el ir nachor vayavrech hagmalim mihutz la'ir el be'er chamayim le'et erev le'et zet hashavavot vayomar Adonai Elohei Adoni Abraham Hakrana lefanai hayom
Ba'aseh.
Ba'aseh chesed im Adoni Abraham. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tocheinu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Why don't you give all of your parents a hug or a high five or whatever you want to do? You are awesome, Alex. I know everyone is so proud of you. So if all the parents want to have a seat, we will pause for a special prayer, a Misha Berach, a blessing of healing for those who need it the most in our community. I know there's lots of people we're thinking of, so please think about someone or many people that you want to send extra blessings to. And I know we are especially remembering your brother Grayson, Alex, and your family during this prayer of healing.
Misha Berach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
So we say, Baruch atah Adonai Rofei HaCholim, blessed are you, Holy Presence of our universe that helps us to heal the sick. So we'll go back to Alex. And Alex, I see you put the Torah away, which is perfect. And now we are at the Haftarah. The Haftarah is a portion taken from outside of the Torah that complements what you read this morning. So we are on page 24.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim v'ratzav v'divrechem hane'emarin be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah u'Moshe avdo Israel amo uye ha'emet ba'tzedek. Meli ani avdecha u'tzadok ha'kohen v'livnayachu ben Yehoyada V'yishlomo avdecha lo karai. Im me'et Adoni hamelech Mishiyah hadavar hazeh v'lo chodata et avdecha mi yeshev al kisei Adoni chamelech acharav. Ma'yan hamelech David, Ma'yomer kir'uli leBatsheva batago lifnei chamelech bata'amod lifnei chamelech. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Sorko ha'olamim, צדיק בכל הדורות, האל הנאמן, האומר ועושה, המדבר ומקיים, שכל דבריו אמת וצדק. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל הנביאים ועל יום השבת הזה שנתת לנו, אדוני אלוהינו, לקדושה ולמנוחה, לכבוד ותפארת על הכל. אדוני אלוהינו, אנחנו מודים לך ומברכים אותך, יתברך שמך בפי כל חי, תמיד לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
Alex, that was perfect. Hang on one second. There's someone I forgot to mention that we should especially mention, which is your tutor, Julie Aronson, who I know the two of you put so much time in together, and you read so beautifully. So I wanted to make sure we mentioned her. And now we get to add your voice to the long line of voices that have shared wisdom about our Torah portion.
Hayei Sarah starts out with Abraham standing in front of the Hittites asking to bury his wife Sarah among them. They respond by saying he may have any gravesite he chooses, for no one will keep him from burying his dead by withholding a gravesite. Abraham then asked to have the cave of Machpelah, and it was sold to him. Abraham went to the cave and buried Sarah. Abraham was elderly and told his servant to find a wife for his son Isaac, but not from among the daughters of the Canaanites. Instead, he was to choose a wife from Abraham's birthplace. The servant then asked Abraham, "Suppose the woman does not care to follow me to this land. Should I then bring your son back to the land you came from?" Abraham replies, "Do not take my son back there, and if the woman does not care to follow you, you are released from this oath." The servant then traveled to Abraham's birthplace and asked God, "To the girl whom I say, 'Tip your pitcher and let me drink,' and who replies, 'Drink, and let me water your camels too,' let her be the one." Rebekah then walked by with the pitcher, and when asked by the servant, got both him and his camels water. She then took the servant and his camels to her home, and he met Rebekah's brother, Laban. Then the servant told Laban about his master Abraham, and how he was sent to find a wife for Isaac. Laban and Bethuel, Rebekah's father, allowed Rebekah to go with the servant and marry Isaac, so the servant gave them many silver and gold objects. The next morning the servant took Rebekah and left for his master's house. Isaac gave Rebekah his mother's tent, and he took her for his wife. Abraham then took a new wife, Keturah, who had 6 children. Abraham left all that he owned to Isaac when he died of old age at 175 years. He was buried in the cave of Machpelah next to Sarah. In the beginning of the portion, Abraham stood in front of the Hittites and told them he was a foreigner living among them, looking for a place to bury his dead. The Hittites answered him by saying he could have any gravesite he chose. Abraham asked Ephron the Hittite, "Sell him the cave of Machpelah." Ephron said, "No, I am giving you the field and the cave in it. Go bury your dead." But Abraham insisted upon paying for the field. Ephron said to Abraham, "The field is only worth 400 shekels of silver. What is that between you and me?" Abraham listened and weighed out 400 shekels of silver. Abraham bought the cave of Ephron and buried his wife Sarah there. The theme that struck me the most in this Torah portion was generosity. Abraham is a foreigner living among the Hittites, but they are still kind and generous to him. The Torah shows us that even if we don't know someone, it is not an excuse to be rude or unkind. You should treat every person you come across with respect and compassion. When Abraham is mourning for his wife, they offer him a place to bury her. When Abraham chooses the cave of Machpelah, Ephron even tells Abraham to take it for free. This part demonstrates extreme generosity. The Hittites are willing to give any piece of land to Abraham. This Torah story also illustrates that we should not only be generous to other human beings, but to animals as well. When Rebekah is asked to get the servant water, she recognizes his camel's needs and how after a long journey they would be thirsty. The Torah teaches us that no matter how different or alike you are from someone, no matter how well you might know that person or animal, you should be generous with what you have. In my opinion, generosity is not just about the things you do, it's about the reasons why you do it. Being generous makes you feel good because you are doing the right thing and it is helping someone. Giving away food and clothing to people who need them is nice and thoughtful, but actual hands-on volunteering, even when you don't necessarily want to, is what really makes you feel satisfied and realize you have made a difference. Often the deeds that are the most helpful and generous aren't the easiest or the ones you want to do. They might require time out of your busy schedule or long hours, or they might require being flexible and helping out on a short notice. While this might be hard and exhausting, being generous is one of the most rewarding things in life and one of life's best traits. Generosity is all about not expecting things in return. Your reason for doing something generous for someone else should not be to get a reward. It should be because we all rely on each other, and sometimes people might need you, and you will need them at some point too. I have experienced generosity a lot in my lifetime, whether it is a simple act like sharing candy from a friend, or a big gesture like my relatives coming in town for weeks at a time when my family had a lot to deal with. It all matters. When my brother got sick, it was really hard on my family. There were a lot of people who cared though. People did all sorts of things to help, from dropping off meals to making cards. My friends would take time out of their busy day to text me and make sure I was okay. With each generous thing I have encountered, I have learned a little more to take the time and be generous with others. My family and I went down to my grandparents' farm and helped them pick crops. Because of COVID-19, they have no help this year, so we went down for the long weekend and dug up around 600 pounds of potatoes. That was 200 pounds of potatoes each. It was hard work. It was hot. I got really dirty and my back hurt. But at the end of the day, I felt good knowing that I had helped my family when they needed me, just like people have helped me when I needed them. A lot of people have lost their jobs this year and are having a harder time feeding their families. So my grandparents will donate some of the food they grow to the hungry in their area. I felt good about contributing to this, and it made me think about generosity on a larger scale. For all the challenges I have faced this year, from school getting canceled to my brother being sick, I have to think about the fact that there are kids out there facing these challenges and many more. Maybe their family doesn't have enough to eat or good internet to go to school. Or they have a family member who is sick, but they don't have insurance or enough money to pay their medical bills. It is good to be generous to those who are close to us, but even when things are difficult, it is important to think about how we can be generous to our larger communities and people who are very different from us, just like Ephraim was generous to Abraham. My Torah portion inspired me to make little changes every day and become more generous. I have joined the community service group at my school. I'm going to make an effort to be kinder to my friends and family, no matter what type of day I'm having. When someone is mean, I'm going to try to still be nice because I don't know what is happening in their life that is making them upset. If someone needs help, even if I don't know them, I will do my best to help them. Ephraim was generous with what he had and let Abraham buy the cave of Machpelah to bury Sarah, even though he didn't know Abraham. Rebecca was generous to the camels, making sure they had enough to drink. They showed us that generosity is always important, no matter how well you know the person or how big or small the gesture may be. I encourage everyone to do the same because a kind action can completely change someone's day and may inspire them to be generous as well.
Rabbi Randy, I think you are muted.
You should have heard what I just said. It was really profound. But what I said was, I'm blown away. I really am, Alex. You get it. It comes through every moment of this Bat Mitzvah service that you get it, and especially when it came to this teaching. So the one word I keep thinking about, I feel like I want to echo your so cute cousin Lila and just say, Amen. I wish I had that voice, but that's how I feel. Amen. Amen to your leading the service, to your chanting of Torah and Haftarah, and to that magnificent commentary about generosity. I also want to say, and I think we sort of discovered this at the last time we met to go through the service. I think you're the first CRC student to have your Bat Mitzvah process totally online, right? Our first meeting, you and I, was in May, and we had already been, the synagogue had been closed already for a couple of months. And so not only your meetings with the rabbis to work together on this commentary that you just so beautifully crafted, but also all of your Hebrew, all of your not your Hebrew school was in person, but you're working with Julie on chanting the prayers and the Torah and the Haftarah totally online. And I'm just amazed by that, how flawless and how strong you are. Did not miss a beat at all. And I think I said this to you before, but the one of the the signpost of Bat Mitzvah is independence, right? You're becoming a teenager and more mature and more independent. And Bat Mitzvah is this time to show all the people that love you that you really deserve that increased independence. And your Bat Mitzvah was a lot more independent than those bar and Bat Mitzvahs that happen in person, because you really had to stand there. We're here with you and your family's there, but you really had to stand there on your own. And oh my goodness, you just really did such an amazing job. So Yasher Koach to you. And I just wanted to say a word about generosity. You talked about that chain of generosity. I love the image of you getting dirty on the farm and harvesting potatoes. Actually, you were with us, right, when we harvested the sweet potatoes at CRC just a few months ago.
Yeah.
So you were the most experienced potato harvester we had. So, but then I love that you put it together that it was generous for you to do that. But then your grandparents passed on that generosity by helping to feed people who were hungry because of the crisis, the health crisis, the economic crisis that we're all going through, the chain of generosity. And, I witnessed something. I witnessed your generosity. I wasn't supposed to, right? And sometimes that's the time that you really get tested, when you get observed being generous and you think you're not being watched. Because I came to your house a few weeks ago to bring the Torah. I keep bringing the Torah and taking the Torah and bringing it. I think I've been calling myself the Uber Torah guy, right? That's sort of one of my jobs. But I came, it was Halloween, right? Or just before Halloween. And you were getting ready to throw a Halloween party for your two little brothers. And I know that it was like, I couldn't come inside your house because of COVID, right? But I know that you must have, was it a great party?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I want to hear, is Grace in there? Was it a great party, guys? Yeah. But you know what? And that just out of the goodness of your heart, because it was a weird Halloween this year. Like it's a weird everything this year. And you wanted them to have a special Halloween. And so I saw your generous heart. And I just wanted to end this part, this teaching, this blessing. This portion closes with such a magnificent vision that when Abraham dies, Sarah dies at the beginning of your portion, as you said, and then Abraham at the end. And Abraham's two sons, Abraham and Sarah's two sons, Isaac and Ishmael, who kind of came to represent different nations and different peoples, and they didn't see eye to eye at all, came together to honor their father. And it inspires me to think that maybe all the peoples of the world can come together. And you inspire me, Alex. And so for this moment of inspiration, I want to make a blessing for you at this special moment that we all got to share. It's called Shehecheyanu. It's right there on the screen, and it goes like this. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shehecheyanu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Amen. Which means blessed is the Holy One, whose presence fills creation, who gave us our lives and who kept us alive and who enabled all of us, and especially you, Alex, ahava, filled with love and generosity, enabled you to reach this holy moment in your life. Amen. Amen. So, Mazel Tov, and I hope you know how much your synagogue, CRC, loves you and your family, your awesome family. And so a member of our board of directors, a great guy, Josh Hertz, recorded a video to pass along congratulations from CRC and also to help present you with some gifts from your synagogue.
Alex, Mazel Tov on your wonderful day. I'm also proud of you. I'm here on behalf of your community and the Board of Directors of Central Reform Congregation. And I'm very proud to present you with this certificate. Let's see if I can get in the camera. that says you have become a Bat Mitzvah, and that 2 trees have been planted in your honor in Israel. 1 tree will be planted in a majority Jewish neighborhood, and the other in a largely Arab neighborhood. It is our hope that you will be able. That these 2 trees will grow together in a land filled with justice and peace, and that you will one day visit and see the fruits of all that has been planted. Mazel tov, Alex. And on behalf of the congregation, we also have this tzedakah box for you, that you may start on your journey of generosity in this world, as we all work to bring it together and create a peaceful society for all people, both in Israel and everywhere. Again, Mazel Tov, and congratulations on this wonderful accomplishment.
Wow, thank you, Josh. And I see that you magically, the gifts and certificate got transported from one screen to the other. So you have the tzedakah box there, and you have the certificate that shows that you are a Bat Mitzvah official, and also that those 2 trees have been planted. So I hope you feel our blessings and our love. And we're going to kind of go forward with the conclusion of the service. And so we're going to be on page 27, and I will chant with whoever else wants to chat with me out there in internet land. Aleinu l'shabeach on page 27. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol latei gedola liyotzer breshit shelo asanu kigoye haratzot velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama shelo sam chelkenu kahem v'gohor aleinu kichol hamonam v'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim Hakadosh Baruch Hu, Shehu Notei Shamayim veYosed Aretz, Umoshav Yikaro Bashamayim Mima'al, Ushchinat Uzo, V'gov He Meromim, Hu Eloheinu Ein Od, Emet Malkeinu Efes Zulato, Kakatuv B'Torato, V'yadata Hayom V'Hashevota, Elevavecha ki Adonai hu ha-Elohim b'shamayim mima'al ve'al ha'aretz mitachat ein od v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol ha'aretz bayom hahu v'yeh Adonai echad u'shemo U'shemo echad. Amen. And of course, we always save time in every service to remember those we've loved and lost, those people whose shoulders we stand upon. And so I'm going to read just a short list of some of the more recent deaths of people who are connected to CRC members and some CRC members who have passed away in this past year. Read their names and remembering that every name is a whole life, and with lots of loved ones who carry on their legacy. But we are remembering Morton Wexler, who was the father of our member Gail Wexler and father-in-law of Bob Croft, and Jeremy and Hannah's grandpa. May his memory be a blessing. Also, Carol Katz, who was the mother of Allison Katz Edler and Jake's grandma. Jeffrey Watson, who was the husband of Leslie Watson. Jose Velasco Sr., the father of our own Jose, who's a CRC staff member. His father passed away in Mexico. We're remembering him. And Joel Leon, the father of Ben Leon. And David Levin, the father of Asa Wild. And then also Shirley Gershon and Mem Mavshin, Howard Handelman, Anthony Hikes, and Virginia LaRocca. And also members of CRC, Fran Hyman and Gil Nussbaum, and John Kepler, and Claire Hyman, and Tom Trieger, and Suzanne Glazer. And I want to give everyone at home a moment to say a name or to think about some people that you are remembering. And then I'm going to stand up for this one. And I'm going to Lead us all in the mourner's Kaddish prayer. May all of our loved ones' memories be a blessing. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. Be'alma divra kirotei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chai echon v'yom echon v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael. B'agalau v'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mivarach le'olam olmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitchomam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemei d'kudesha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush b'chata v'nechemata. Da'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlam Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Osei shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru ve'imru. Amen. Ya'aseh shalom. Ya'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yahaseh shalom. Yahaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Amen. We remember all of them. So, Alex, more blessings, because you deserve infinite blessings, but these are very special blessings. So I'm going to invite, once again, your parents to come on up, and I'm going to give you some of their wise parental words.
All right, Alex, we've got a lot of us talking. I'm going to go first. Alex, we are so proud of you. I know this is not news. In fact, I've said it so much, you've told me it's annoying. But today, watching you become a Bat Mitzvah, I feel it bears repeating. You've worked hard for this day, doing all of your preparation independently. When given the option to postpone to another time, you declined, instead confidently forging ahead to meet the challenges of leading a virtual service. You have always been a strong, some might say stubborn, you prefer persistent, child. When you were about 3, you hated getting buckled in your car seat. I'm sure after reading some parenting website, I decided we could fix this. I would buckle your favorite doll, Striped Baby, named for the stripes on her shirt, in the car seat. Then you would buckle her in, and then maybe you would let me buckle you in without a fight. We spent several minutes buckling Striped Baby in and giving her praise. Then it was your turn. You took Striped Baby, you smiled at me slyly, and then instead of buckling her in, you made her do flips while laughing and yelling, "Wee, I'm Striped Baby, and I'm not listening to my mama." I thought I have met my match. As parents, Liz and I know your strength can be a force to be reckoned with, but we also know that with your kind heart and mostly level head, it will serve you well. You are observant of the world around you, and since you were young, you have been quick to spot the person in need and come to their side. You prefer to do this without being told and when no one is watching. You hesitated to call anything your Bat Mitzvah project because the truth is you would prefer that your kind acts not be recognized. You have the true generosity of spirit that you spoke about in your commentary. You go out of your way to make sure that everyone in your whole big family feels your love, and that's not always easy with 4 parents, 2 brothers, 8 grandparents, 2 dogs, and 2 cats. I'm so thankful that all of us can be here to share in this day with you. I am one of the world's best worriers, so I know you'll find it hard to believe when I tell you that Liz and I are not worried about you. You know what's right, and you will stand up for it. You are a thoughtful, sensitive, and fiercely strong young woman. You are an amazing daughter, granddaughter, sister, and friend. You know how much we love you, and you know it's not easy for us, well, me, to give you the independence you deserve. But today I want to leave you with this quote. You're of me, not mine. Walk your own crooked line. I promise you'll be fine. Alex, we know you will be more than fine. We can't wait to see what you will do to make this world a better place.
Alex, some days we can't believe that you are ours. You literally amaze us every day with your intelligence, your wit, and your sass, but above all, your caring heart. You've proven to be the best thing that, as a sister to the boys, we could have asked for, and the most amazing daughter. When we found out about Grayson's diagnosis, the one person we couldn't bear to tell was you. Not because we didn't want you to know or that we didn't think you were strong enough to handle it, but we just didn't want to break your heart. You have such a strong bond with our entire family, and particularly a special relationship with Grayson. So we thought of giving you any family-related bad news was almost too much to handle. Since our hearts were shattered, we didn't know how to help mend yours and tell you everything was going to be okay. But in typical Alexandra fashion, you took the news hard, but picked yourself up, did all the research on your own, and put on the bravest face for your brother. When we finally saw you after being in the hospital, we hugged and cried, but eventually you smiled, and we knew that you were going to be okay. You are a rock for him, and in turn, a rock for us. There are 5 things I think that are important as you enter into your adult life that have been important in my life and have been taught to me by my parents. 1 is love. Love for yourself, love for your others, love for your community. 2, teamwork and being a good teammate. Nobody is able to do it all by himself or herself. Be a good team player in your occupation and working with your co-employees, with your family, and with your community. Grit, determination, and resilience. Life is not fair, as we've seen with the current events around the world and our family, but hard work and determination and perseverance will give you a great success and help you through the failures. Family, look around you, look online. Your support and your support group are here not just for the good times to encourage you like today, but also to help get through the tough times. And faith, when the top 4 seem to be failing you, have faith in yourself, your family, your friends, and your community. Alexandra, you are one special young lady full of life and determination. We are proud of you every day. You've done so many amazing things over your short 13 years. We know your future is so bright. Please never change who you are, who you want to become, because you are on a path to greatness, and we can't wait to see where you end up. This is a very special day in your life, and although we wish the circumstances were different for you, we know you're making the best of it and will embrace your new faith. Today, we wish for you all things wonderful. Today, we wish for you all things magical. Today, we wish for you a foundation of faith that will provide comfort for you throughout your life. Faith is sometimes all we have to get us through, and we can be grateful that we can walk through life with such beautiful, strong faith behind you. If it was possible to handpick our children, you have been the first choice. You're a perfect daughter for us. We love you so much.
Stay right there where you are. Stay perfect. Beautiful words. Really. So a couple of things to really conclude. First is, you guys have a Kaddish cup with some juice, some wine, maybe? Yeah, we'll get it. No sweat. While we're waiting, I just want to make sure I recognize, you heard from Rabbi Karen and Rabbi Susan and myself, but Rabbi Daniel has been behind the scenes, making sure that all of this happens. So I just want to shout out to Rabbi Daniel. And we got the Kaddish cup, and I know there's a challah because we had a little bit of a delayed challah delivery this morning. Wonderful Judy brought the challah. We had to make sure she connected the dots, but you got it. So, Alex, you got the cup. Raise up that Kaddish cup. Filled with sweetness and holiness, and you're going to drink it in just like you've let us drink in all the sweetness and holiness of watching you become Bat Mitzvah so beautifully, so powerfully. So hold that cup up. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pari hagafen. Take a sip. Amen. And we say l'chaim, to life. Life for you all. And then let's see that beautiful challah that Judy baked. Another gift from CRC. I've had Grandma Judy's challahs, really, really delicious. So I hope you enjoy with your celebration lunch, and so that we make a. You know what? This blessing always reminds me of generosity, because when we say motzi, it means we've got to share what we have, and there's always enough to go around. And so this is a blessing of bounty and a blessing of generosity. And so here goes the motzi. You want to Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. And go ahead, Alex. You get the first bite since you did all the work up there. And I know you'll share it around to your grandparents and your family. So let's do this, you guys. Let's put our arms around Alex and around each other. Let's get the rabbis on the screen here. Oh my gosh. Oh, hey, you guys. How's it going? Ezra and Noah. Good to see you guys. Shabbat Shalom. Wow. We are sending all of our love and prayers to your family, Alex, and to Grayson. And I know the good vibes and the holiness of this morning. I know he feels it, and we all feel it. So we love you guys, and I hope we have a great celebration because you deserve it. So we put our arms around you. We put our arms around the whole world, and we say, Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Oh, may God bless you and keep you now and forever.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'kunecha. And may you take some of this generosity and kindness and light you have felt on this Shabbat from Alex and her family and take it into our world. Rabbi Susan.
Shalom. And Alex, this is Rabbi Daniel, but Rabbi Susan was muted. I have to tell you how amazing. I am so moved. I am so moved by you. I am moved by your words. I am moved by your poise. I am confident that the world is going to be a better place because you are in it and because you are taking your rightful place as taking another step towards being an adult in our community. So Mazal Tov to you. Mazal Tov to your whole family. We love you all. We hope you go and celebrate.
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Amen.